Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the Cosmic Countdown. You're listening to Just My Two Cents. I'm here with my friend and co-host, Aaron the Dog. I will waste no further time. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you so much for being here.
Good, man. Feels like the first time all over again, but glad to be back after the week off. I am now an honest man.
Yeah, congrats, brother.
Thank you. The wedding was a great time as you were there.
Yes, it was.
And I'm excited to be back talking movies. We'll figure out as we go if the day will be Thursday or Wednesday, but we'll let everybody know as we keep going. But yeah, we're into the final 5 of the first quarter of this wonderful countdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good time, and I'm still shifting around my list. So I actually took a movie off of my list and added one after rewatching it earlier this week and realized.
Nice, dude.
So just before we get into it, Into the Wild, I'm sorry, but I had to remove you from the list completely. So yeah, I mean that's just how close especially in this bottom half of the list, they're pretty interchangeable with probably the bottom, my top 150 or 200. So yeah, Into the Wild has been removed from the list. It was actually at 79, so it wasn't even 80.
That's the Emil Hirsch vehicle, right?
Yeah, Emil Hirsch, he goes to Alaska into the wilderness after deciding to donate all of his money and just give up on modern society, basically. It's actually based on a true story. It's one of the few books I've also read for enjoyment, and the book's very different. But Into the Wild's great. The soundtrack's great. Just not great enough to make the top 100 list for me. And I just had to remove it and did that about maybe a half hour ago.
Dude, there's no shame in that. And it's funny you say that because I had a movie that was on the list for this week and I was watching it and like 30 minutes in, I'm like, this has got to be way, way higher. And that's happened to me. Like it happened to me 2 weeks ago as well. And dude, you'll see these movies coming up at some point. But and there was one that like I was going to add. And then I watched it and I was like, it's top 200, but it's still not quite going to make the list. And it's Hackers. I was going to put Hackers on my list. I just think it's a really enjoyable movie. It's super unrealistic, and it's fun, but it's like, I like it. I still like it. It still like has value to me, but just not quite the elite.
Yeah, I would probably put Swordfish ahead of Hackers for me personally if I'm doing computer hacker movies. So,
dude, I haven't seen that in a while. I saw that shit in theaters actually.
Yeah, I mean Halle Berry's not in Hackers.
Right. Yeah, a bare-breasted Halle Berry kind of.
That was huge when that happened.
What up, Chico?
What up, boy? He's he's deciding to join us real quick. He's got his. By the way, if you don't believe I'm a film fan, A24 collar.
That is fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, so
Chico, fresh to death,
rocking his sweater. You know, it's a little bit chilly up here now.
Nah.
It's probably going to be dark by the time we finish this because of daylight fucking savings.
Yeah, dude. Sun's starting to set a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, shit, dude. Since you a newly married man and you feeling all strong and good, do you want to be first or second this week?
I'll go first. I'll go first. I don't mind first or second. I don't have a real preference. But as always, I'll queue up. First of all, I've got 2 90s movies, 1 2000s, as in the decade of the 2000s, and 2 80s movies on my list.
Nice.
Unfriended isn't bad, actually. Zach and Zach making an appearance on the Cosmic Countdown chat.
What's up, Zach?
Yeah,
Jackie boy.
Jack and Zach. It was a great day. Just to answer Jack's last one there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm even being biased here. Best wedding I've ever been to, not just because I got married at it, but we threw a great party.
Dude, I will second that too. That is the best wedding I've ever been to myself. I told Aaron that, and that is truly from the heart. I've been to a lot of them. Dude, my brother's wedding, I hated it, dude. But dude,
I don't like I don't like many weddings, and I wasn't in charge of a ton of it. Shout out to Abby for mostly planning it, but I was in charge of the food, and the food was fucking dope. So
yes, it was.
I mean, like I was like watching people throughout the night, like during even the appetizers. It's like you wait for that one or two appetizers. No, all five of them fire. I mean, great food throughout. Even the cake was good, and that is like never happens. But yeah, enough wedding talk here. We'll get into the final five of the first quarter of the Cosmic Countdown that's going to be going well into 2024. Probably nearly into probably I don't even know what month, but we'll figure it out as we go. But not planning on being away for another week anytime soon. Yeah, we'll start with my first movie, which is one of my two 90s movies. It is the only DC superhero, only Batman movie on my list, and it's from the 90s.
Oh, shit.
It is not Dark Knight, obviously. It's not Batman 89, obviously. It's not Batman Forever. It is Batman Returns.
Woo!
Burden vehicle. Is this a punt?
It is not a punt, but I was close to putting Returns on. Returns was it was an honorable mention that I didn't mention.
This movie, like, is just it's so fucking good, man. It holds up better than ever now. Both villains, in Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito, absolutely show up to play. It is like it is a Tim Burton movie, so saying weird is kind of obvious, but I think this is, it really does surprisingly work with like the Batman kind of atmosphere for me. There's just so many great scenes in this movie. I've heard a lot of people, who are like, oh, it's a Tim Burton movie, not a Batman movie. I don't know about that. Like, I'd say it was. I watched this so much as a kid, and then revisiting it as an adult. Oh yeah, I just missed 420. Revisiting as an adult, like, it really does hold up. Like for me, the only good Catwoman, correct.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, the Nolan Catwoman did not do it for me. Just like there's so many great scenes. The opening scene where like the skull dudes on the motorcycles all start to take over like the Christmas tree lighting. It's a Christmas movie as well, and I'm not huge on Christmas movies, but this one I think does it well. Not to mention Christopher Walken as Max Schreck, who's the other villain in the movie. When he shoves Michelle Pfeiffer out the window, spoiler alert, because I'm sure most people have seen this one. Like, that is just a wild scene. And then, like, you see, like, Michelle Pfeiffer before she becomes Catwoman. She's just, like, a sad single woman, like, getting all upset, has all her cats and shit. Like, this is, like, before the crazy cat lady was really a huge part of, like, kind of the public lexicon.
Right.
And Dark Knight Rises sucks, so definitely overrated. The Dark Knight, if you take out Heath Ledger, that movie is below average for me, personally. Like,
I will actually. So hotter take. I actually really like the Dark Knight Rises, and I think the Dark Knight is super, super overrated. But I do think the Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is super womp womp. I just like that. Anyway,
and I don't mind Batman Forever. I don't mind Batman Robin. And Batman 89 I like, but it's just like, I don't know, it's a little bit generic to me as a Batman fan. So Batman Returns is my pick. I've seen it so much as a kid, as well, and even as an adult it still really holds up. There's just, even like the Penguin's lair, the Batmobile in the movie is the Batmobile I think of. Michael Keaton. Just there's nothing I really dislike about this movie, if I'm being honest with you. And again, Danny DeVito, I've not talked about enough as the Penguin. Absolutely disgusting. He's like a weird, perverted, like running for politician dude. Like he eats just like fish in the middle of like the office. Like it's just like he's all pale and gross. He's got his weird rejects in the bottom, like in the sewer and everything. I mean, there's just I don't really have many notes for this movie. I don't like superhero movies all that much, but this one to me is an absolute exception because it doesn't feel like a superhero movie, probably. And I feel like it took a lot of inspiration from Batman the Animated Series, which I'd probably put right up there if we were doing a TV show ranking. And just I just don't have many problems with this movie. It's just one of those. I think it's so much better than Dark Knight. And just, I don't know. It just forever changed how I saw these characters because I will always see the Penguin as Danny DeVito, Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Michael Keaton's Batman.
Dude, honestly, this is a great selection. I love that you pointed out that scene where Walken pushes her through, basically like transforms her into Catwoman. Dude, when she's falling through the series of fucking like overhangs or whatever, like bam, and then hit dude.
And those cats eating her fingers is so gross.
It is like
so gross.
It's Tim Burton, like it's.
I think this movie was PG-13. I'm pretty sure it was PG-13.
Oh, and it's a pretty hard PG-13, dude. Like Danny DeVito, you said it. Penguin is horrifying. It's such a gnarly, like, I don't think any other director could really pull it off like Burton. So, but it is a Batman movie. Like, dude, that shot of Wayne sitting there alone in his fucking office and the bat signal fucking comes through the moonlight. That shit is fucking pimp, dude. Like, it's a great Batman movie. One of my favorite Batman movies. And like, yeah, dude, it holds up really fucking solid. I saw it not too long ago. You said it, like it exists as a Christmas movie and kind of subverts it a little bit. It's kind of like, kind of pokes fun at Christmas a little bit. And like, it's got the dark, like circus shit. And yeah, fucking Batman Returns rocks, dude. Great shout. And Michelle Pfeiffer kills it too. It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, there's just so many great scenes. I could go through the whole movie when she's robbing that store and she's just like doing the like acrobatics through it.
Yeah.
When she like completely just goes ape shit. I mean, it's just her apartment is so sad.
Dude, it is.
Like her mom bitching at her on the phone. Like it's just like great character build up and everything like that. When she goes crazy and puts all the dolls in the garbage disposal.
Yes, like, dude. And all the fucking fluff flies everywhere. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and before when I was a kid, I didn't get any of that. And I still loved the movie. So like there's just so much kind of to like about it.
Definitely, dude. Great fucking choice. I love that. All right. Well, Aaron, my friend, we have punted on a few movies thus far, and we are about to field our first one.
About time.
We're going to field our first punt today, my friend, and it is coming up right fucking now. Let me get this avatar ready. I'll put up my little list thus far. So I think I can't remember if this is the first one we punted on or not, but it was one of the earlier ones. So I watched this movie this past week, and I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was wondering. I was like, dude, fuck, like I haven't seen it in a while. And it's on Aaron's list, and I was a fucking smart ass about punting on it. Oh, dude, I have this way higher, whatever. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, this better be as good as I remember it. So I was a little worried about that, but I watched it, and I was like, nah, dude, it still fucking got it. This movie's awesome. I won't waste any more time building it up or whatever. We're going to field our first punt, and it is I hope I get this year right. I'm going off the cuff. I believe it is the 1996 crime thriller classic, the 70s blaxploitation themed Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown.
Very nice. Welcome to the show, Jackie, which I underrated for sure, but it is what it is. I mean, you have 90. But yeah, go ahead. Tell me about you can lead off the Jackie Brown discussion.
Well, dude, I like I said, I was like, man, I hope this movie is as good as I remember it being, and it is. But there were some things that I liked about it more that I didn't notice as much, like when I would watch it as a younger man. Like, I think I'm trying to remember the first time I even saw it, but I was in my teens, like I was, 15, 16. But I remember I would watch it back in the day, and like, Chris Tucker's in it. He's funny, and like the shit with him and Ordell, like that whole thing is funny and crazy. So I like that. And I like, Robert De Niro smoking weed and all that shit. But like one thing that really stood out to me was Pam Grier, dude. God damn, she is so fucking good in this movie. This is an Oscar snub, man. She should have fucking won the Oscar for this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Helen Hunt won it this year, and she was really good in As Good as It Gets. Like, that's a good role. But, dude, Pam Grier fucking kills it in this movie,
such a better performance. I agree.
Dude, like, she, like, switches between badass chick, damsel in distress, and just like every woman, like you could almost see yourself, like what would you do in this situation kind of shit. And she's just convincing in all those like parts, and like it's very like the good acting, like you can see her like genuine emotions, and you kind of like you almost like see a lot of the story through her perspective, and she's there for a lot of it. So even and given the fact that they do show multiple points of view, she's still like, her performance stood out to me more so than, and I think it kind of got lost in the sauce during award season. Like Robert Forster got an Oscar nod, and he's great in this movie too, man. Like I love Forster in this movie. He's awesome as Max Cherry, but like I can't believe I didn't notice how awesome Pam Grier was in this, because it's an ensemble cast and there's a ton of characters, but dude, she fucking murders it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think her relationship or, romance with Robert Forster, R.I.P. Robert Forster, but is so great. The music, the Delphonics, Didn't I Blow Your Mind, is like forever attached to this movie. And I just think that coming off of something like Pulp Fiction, people just expected another Pulp Fiction, and this was such a diversion from that. That, it's just, I think a lot of people didn't know how to handle it at the time, particularly. And yeah, Pam Grier is amazing in this movie. Samuel L. Jackson is as well. Robert De Niro is all right, maybe one of the weaker of the ensemble.
He's kind of just there.
Yeah, but it works with the character. But there's just, I mean, as a huge fan of the 70s, this movie's just kind of grown on me over time as well. Indeed. I love the opening as well. Back-to-back Michael Keaton's at the number 80 as well.
Across 110th Street.
Yeah. It's just in the whole tracking shot that Tarantino does here. And, a lot of the scenes were improv as well. And especially with Samuel L. Jackson, Tarantino really let Samuel L. Jackson basically run his own lines for a lot of the movie, and he really did create a great character in that. So, this is a great one. I've heard some people say it's a little bit long. It's 2.5 hours. I don't think it's long at all. I don't know what you're cutting from this movie to make it shorter. Also, it's a pretty complex, like intricate story.
I agree, because it doesn't move at like a feverishly fast pace, and some people just can't stand that. But like you said, it's aged really well, and it's like it's kind of just like I don't know, man, like a fucking shirt that fits really well, dude. It's like he really takes his time with some of the scenes. I love the tracking shot of Chris Tucker getting in that fucking trunk and going or hitting the fucking block and going into that parking lot. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's just little things like that, and the music. I love the set. I love Ordell's beach house, and dude, his character is so awesome and funny, and like he's kind of like, this slick fucking, gun runner, but he's funny and kind of intimidating at the same time. It's great character piece for a lot of the actors and actresses. I love it. Great movie.
Yeah, it's just it is a 70s American crime movie growing up and realizing it's way too old for this damn shit,
Yep.
basically. And it really I think it does continue to move up in my personal ranking of Tarantino movies also. It really does. There's a couple more that are on my list that we'll get to as we go, but those like top 3 or 4 are nearly interchangeable at this point. The more I watch Jackie Brown, the more I like it as well. And again, the Delphonics.
Yeah, dude, that
Just
Bobby Womack track at the beginning, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, and this is like one of the last movies that I got to watch with I guess he would be my stepfather. My mom my mom got married again after my dad passed away just a couple years ago.
Mhm.
So it's kind of weird when I'm in my 30s to call someone my stepfather. But he passed away. His name was Jeff, and this is the last movie we watched together. So I've been kind of afraid to go back to it because it's just going to have an extra emotional kind of pull to me. But
Right.
yeah, I just remember watching this, and after I watched this with him, like I had always been the son of me and my brother who was a little bit harder on Jeff and like kind of took a little more time to trust him with my mom and just in general. So like in this movie was like a big kind of turning point for our relationship, which I'm grateful for now because he did get sick afterwards, pretty soon afterwards. I'm glad that I didn't like become friends with him once he was sick because then it's like, oh, well, why did I just feel bad or whatever? So
Right.
it's got those extra little like points to it. But, I can remember when this movie came out, I was young, so I definitely didn't watch it when it first came out. But I do remember, like, in general, people were like, oh, Quinn's lost it. This isn't the same. This isn't as good. And, like, it just kind of blows my mind. Then it just kind of blows my mind that this movie hasn't always had the reception it has now. Because now someone could say it's their favorite Tarantino. People would still be like, oh, what about blah, 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 blah. But like then after those 2 or 3, then they'd be like, I can see why. And when I was growing up, I remember it was like, this is the bad Tarantino movie. And yeah, just a great call. I know it was like in my 90s or whatever. But again, we gotta. It's hard to rank your favorite movies, and as I just said earlier, I took one of my favorites that was at 79 off of my list. So,
Dude, for anyone that has ever done anything like this before, dude, you already know how tough this shit is. And like, there were some tough executions, man. Some late final cuts and
yeah,
stuff.
it was between Better Off Dead and Bad Boys. I had Jackie Brown. So, it's just like I don't really regret any part of that list. It was a couple of weeks ago now we talked about it, but yeah. Irishman was terrible. But Killers of the Flower Moon was great. So Scorsese is back.
Nice. But I mean, I would say that one final note on Jackie Brown. I would say that Jackie Brown is one of Tarantino's more mature, like sophisticated efforts. Honestly,
Absolutely.
Like, it feels like one of his more like adult. Like you almost feel like you want to have it with like a gentleman's drink or something, like a cocktail. I don't know. I love this fucking movie, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like I think it would probably be his least obnoxious movie he's made to date.
Yeah, completely concur.
All right, so moving on to number 79. This is the newest member of the list. I literally just I do movie trivia as well online, and my opponent's strength for next week was 2000s Philip Seymour Hoffman movies, which has some. I have a ton on my list of Philip Seymour Hoffman, I realized. And this is one that I had seen when it came out in 2007. So I was a senior in high school at that point. And I loved it back then. And this is by a director that I believe I have 4 movies on my list by this director. It's Sidney Lumet. It's his final movie, and it's called Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Have you heard of this movie?
Sorry, I was doing the banners. Yes, I've heard of it, and I've not seen it, and I really fucking want to.
You need to see this movie. This movie fucking rules. It's about two bro. I won't really spoil it too much, but first of all, I believe it's the second appearance of Ethan Hawke. He stars in it as one of the two brothers. Ethan Hawke just has a tremendous filmography too. He really does pick great roles. And it's about two brothers who organize a robbery of their parents' jewelry store, and it goes horribly wrong, triggering a series of events that sends them and their family hurtling towards a shattering climax. So this movie, you want to talk about a stacked cast? Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ethan Hawke, Albert Finney plays the father. Marissa Tomei gets naked in this movie a lot. So that's always good. Michael Shannon has a supporting role as in this movie. And Sidney Lumet, if you don't know Sidney Lumet, get yourself familiar with Sidney fucking Lumet, because this list has a lot of Sidney Lumet on it. One of my favorite directors of all time. This is the last movie he made. And this movie is insane, man. It goes forward in time, backward in time. And it all kind of adds up. There are drugs, there is sex, there is violence.
Sold.
Yeah, it's and I mean it's just like it's like classic director nearing probably 85 at this point. Sidney Lumet just unleashes his most like raw, mean-spirited movie ever, and he's not someone who's like really known for that either. So like I didn't really know he had this in him, but this is just a movie that, you know, you can find it on, I believe, most streaming platforms. It's pretty widely available. I'd like compare it to like A History of Violence, Mystic River, those kind of movies with those kind of reveals. Little bit of A Simple Plan, like just pretty much all the movies I love. Another movie that reminded me a lot of it that came out recently was Widows, but I would say this is more exciting than Widows. And it just starts off like this is supposed to be a simple, you know, robbery of their parents.
Wow. A robbery gone wrong. I love that fucking setup.
And it's just like Ethan Hawke is super pathetic. Philip Seymour Hoffman is like a drug addicted, like horribly violent asshole in this movie. So probably wasn't really, you know, probably was mostly method acting. Marissa Tomei plays an aging stripper, but I mean, like, I'm not one to get like excited for nude scenes as an adult, but like even watching it today, I still was like, damn, she looks good. Like,
dude, Marissa Tomei is fine.
Yeah, and this is probably Marissa Tomei at her finest. Like, seriously. And so, you know, just sit back, pay attention, enjoy. Michael Shannon shows up for a side role, which is awesome to me. Michael Shannon, one of my favorite actors as well.
He's awesome, man.
This is just one that I had to get onto my you know, list here, because like it is one of my favorites. And it was one of my favorites when I first saw it. I believe it didn't even get released in theaters. Like somehow Sidney Lumet's last movie just went straight to DVD, I'm pretty sure. And this is before streaming in 2007. So that's when like that was really supposed to mean something. I think it's just because it was so damn raw and so fucking violent, man. Like it really is like one of those, if you love Robberies Gone Wrong, you got to check it out.
Oh man, dude, I love crime thrillers so much too. I can't believe I haven't seen this, and I got to. I might watch this tonight.
Yeah, and it's just it is just really, really a good movie, and not enough people know about it. And yeah, it's just, again, shout out to Sidney Lumet, which I'd list off his other movies now, but that would be giving away some of my list. But yeah, he really is great. You can't really go wrong with him, and yeah. Great movie.
Fuck, I gotta see this, dude. All those actors, I love all those actors. R.I.P. Philip Seymour. Yeah, damn it, man.
He was in so many great movies, and I will have many more Philip Seymour Hoffman movies showing up on my list, as well as Sidney Lumet. And I don't know if I have any more Ethan Hawke on my list, but I've already had 2 or 3. So shout out to Ethan Hawke too.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Ethan Hawke. I don't know if you've seen this one, but I agree completely with your statement about Ethan Hawke taking good film roles and good selections. I've heard a lot of people say they haven't seen this movie. It's not like, I'm not going to say it's the best movie in the world, but one that's like worth a view is Good Kill. Have you seen Good Kill?
Nope. I
He
will add it
plays
to the list.
Ethan Hawke plays he's a former like Air Force combat pilot, and he fought in the Iraq War or whatever, has PTSD. So there's that element of it. Very realistic depiction of PTSD and issues it creates and shit. But the whole plot is, and I'll make it quick, he was a combat pilot, and then he gets reassigned as a drone pilot. And there's a lot of shit with like the issues with the drones, and like the CIA starts to come in and like start ordering who he has to kill with the drone strikes and shit. And it gets really crazy. It's like an intense, like, I wouldn't say it's like an action movie, but it's an intense like thriller, like military thriller. And he's really, really fucking good in it. It's called Good Kill. I definitely recommend it.
Is that by okay? So Good Kill is by the director Andrew Niccol, who did he did Lord of War, which is a good Nicolas Cage movie, also about war, and
Yeah, that is good.
And In Time, which was not as good. But yeah, no, I've never heard of this.
It's good. I hadn't heard of it either, and I saw it, and I was like, Ethan Hawke, and I gave it a shot. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Definitely worth a shot. But all right. So, yeah, dude, I've got to check out Devil Knows You're Dead. I apologize.
Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Which is a great fucking title for a movie, too. Like, just great. It makes sense as you watch the movie.
It is, dude. It's a clever, like, it's like an expression, right? Like, be in heaven a half hour before the devil knows you're dead.
Yeah.
Dude, no, I got to check this one out.
It's great. Sidney Lumet. Watch more Sidney Lumet, people. He deserves to be mentioned like the Stanley Kubricks of the world. Lars von Trier might be on my list. We'll see.
Oh, shit. Got some wagers in the chat. See if they...
Not many of Noah's wagers so far have. He's going to be in the hole so far, for at least from my list, from reading some of his wagers, though.
Yeah, only bet what you can afford to lose, boys.
Yep.
Bet responsibly. All right, man. Well, fuck, dude, you are giving me some killer Rex, dude. Thank you.
Where we go for yeah. We're only gonna get better as we go. That's at least the idea.
I love it. I fucking love it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Got 6 people in there. Smash the like button if you haven't. All right, man. Well, as we are getting further, well, no, we're not there yet. I'm sorry. I'm talking about another movie. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm stoned and I've had too much coffee. All right. Number 79. 79 for me. This genre is probably one of my favorite genres. And if I had to categorize this movie, I would say it's an action thriller, but it's definitely got some really funny moments. But overall, I would categorize it as an action thriller. Emphasis on the thriller too. This is actually a new movie. This is a movie that has come out in the last couple years, and I was surprised that it made the list. But I was just thinking about it the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this. And it's like every time I've seen it several times already, and it's only been out for not that long. But every time I watch it and every time I think about watching it, I'm like, this movie fucking rocks. And it is like not too long before I want to watch it again. And so that's kind of why it made the list. It's a little early to say this, and I might be like a victim of the moment and biased, but I think there is potential for this maybe to go down as a modern classic. I don't know if it's there yet, but I think there's potential. Anyways, without further ado, this is my number 79th favorite movie. I'll go ahead and get my thing up here. Trying to think if there's anything else I can build up. No, I don't think so. I think I'll just hit you with it. Number 79 for me. I believe it came out in 2022. It was 2022 or 2021. But this is one of my favorite movies by this director. It has got a bit of an ensemble cast itself, but it's an action thriller. It's pretty fucking funny, and it's really satisfying, dude. It's really got a bite to it, and it really hits. Ladies and gentlemen, number 79 for me is the Joe Carnahan action thriller Cop Shop.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, my goodness gracious, dude. I fucking love this movie, bro. I fucking love this movie. Okay, so brief summary. It's kind of easy to sum up. A con man, a hitman, a cop, and a psychopathic serial killer all meet in a small cop station for a good old-fashioned showdown. It's got this 70s style thriller feel to it, but the buildup is good. The characters are really good, and when the action hits, it's fucking brutal, dude. There's some brutal kills in this movie, and some brutal almost kills. Alexis Louder, who's the chick you can see right there in the Avatar, she's a revelation. I think this is a star-making performance from her. She plays the protagonist, the rookie. I don't know if she's a rookie, but she's a young cop basically at this station, and a con man and a hitman get put in cells beside each other. Turns out the hitman's there to kill the other guy. It's got Gerard Butler and Frank Grillo. Anybody that likes either of those guys, they fucking kill it in this movie. But for me, I don't know if you remember this guy or if anyone has seen anything that he's been in, but Toby fucking Hess, it steals every goddamn scene. He is out of his fucking mind in this movie. He's hilarious. I fucking love this movie, man. It's a kick-ass action movie. Joe Carnahan, it's got the classic tough guy dialogue. There's a lot of good zingers and one-liners. It's got a sharp script, intense buildup, really good showdowns, awesome gunfights. This movie fucking kicks ass. I love it. I can't tell you enough how much I love it.
Yeah, looking at it, it kind of reminds me of an Assault on Precinct 13 homage almost.
It would, yeah, on crack. Yeah, that's a good description.
Yeah, shout out to John Carpenter also. Another one of my opponent's strengths for next week is John Carpenter.
Oh shit.
So got to show Abby In the Mouth of Madness yesterday, which unfortunately didn't make my list, but nearly had to add that one too because In the Mouth of Madness is awesome. But yeah, this sounds like right up my alley. I have several movies added to my list already that I have not even heard of or seen. Cop Shop, I believe I've heard of, and I just assumed it was a shitty Frank Grillo direct-to-DVD.
Dude, I did too. That is exactly what I thought. And I was like, oh God, here we go. Frank Grillo whoring himself out.
Joe Carnahan hasn't exactly done anything great lately.
I know. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh God, Carnahan, some tough guy fucking shit. But it actually.
Is Gerard Butler in this movie too?
Who?
Gerard Butler?
Yes, he is. He plays the hitman.
Yeah, exactly. So I still have low expectations, even though you've told me this. So
dude, keep your expectations in the pit, and it'll be even better.
Yeah, exactly. But Toby Hess looks like he's having a good time there. Yeah, you are a casual, Jack.
He's insane. God, he is a nut job in this movie. It's in the best way. All righty. Well, that's 79 for me.
All right. So you mentioned how your 79 Cop Shop was easy to explain. We're on to one of, if not my favorite director of all time, David Cronenberg. I don't believe I brought up a David Cronenberg movie yet, but David Cronenberg is. Have I?
You did last The Fly.
Oh, The Fly, right? Oh yeah, The Fly. Yeah, The Fly was my first of many David Cronenberg movies. I love David Cronenberg. I love his body horror. I love his commentary on society, and here specifically, he turns it onto violence and media, which has been shown in a lot of movies in not great ways. But in this one, I think this one becomes more relevant by time. I don't know how he made this in 1983 because it seems like exactly what kind of the issues of violence in media are portrayed as today, which is now 40 years since this movie came out. That's mind-blowing. It is Videodrome, which is, have you seen Videodrome? I hope that you've seen Videodrome because Yeah, this is basically, about a president of a trashy TV channel named Max Wren, played by James Woods, which James Woods does an amazing job, who's desperate for new programming to attract viewers. He happens to come across this show called Videodrome. It's a TV show dedicated to gratuitous torture and punishment. And Max basically sees it as a potential hit and broadcasts the show on his channel. And then he has his girlfriend audition for the show. She never returns. And Max investigates the truth behind Videodrome and discovers that the graphic violence may not be as fake as he thought it would be. And the first time I saw this movie, I was like, that was kind of weird. Second time I saw it, I liked it a little more. Each time I've seen it, I've liked it more and more. And it's so damn relevant to kind of everything about the internet and about just like being willing to see whatever, whenever. I mean, go on Twitter right now, we can just see dead babies all the time. It's an examination of reality TV before reality TV. The body horror in this movie is just incredible. The practical effects. I know a lot of people give the credit for the best practical effects ever. Videodrome is up there for me as the best. There's just so many great lines. One of my favorite, after all, there's nothing real outside of our perception of reality, is there. It just basically is just very, very realistic. While being so surreal at the same point, Debbie Harry is amazing in this movie as well as James Woods. And David Cronenberg is just an absolute genius. It's not the last time I'll say that or mention that. Have you seen Videodrome?
I'm sorry, I forgot I had my shit on mute. I have only seen clips of Videodrome. I've not seen it all the way through.
Yeah, this is one you need to get extra high to, and you'll do some thinking. And if you need my Criterion password, I can give you that because it is available on the Criterion channel, which is one of the best streaming services available in the States. But yeah,
up on that. Don't tempt me.
Yeah, it is a wild movie. It's definitely got, shades of like a Fight Club, shades of American Psycho in there. But it's so much more surreal and different than those movies as well. And yeah, David Cronenberg is just, I think, one of the most brilliant filmmakers of all time.
Dude, he's one of a kind. Yeah. His body of work, like, it stands out from a lot of other, even directors that you think have good movies. Like, not many people like reinvent themselves like Cronenberg has done. And
honestly, of his movies, I can count 2, maybe 3 that you could say are bad movies, and the other 15 are great. I mean, I'm not going to go through them all right now, but I'll go through a few that didn't happen to make my list.
Sure.
Existenz, another great one.
That is underrated, dude.
It's weird Matrix, basically. Like, if the Matrix,
gross Matrix.
Yeah, and it was released the same year as the Matrix. Dead Zone, another great one with Christopher.
I love Dead Zone with Walken.
Yeah. Naked Lunch, insane. Eastern Promises, come on.
I love Eastern Promises, bro.
Yeah, like, and Scanners. I mean, there's just so many. Seriously, and like Brandon Cronenberg, as Jack just said here, Brandon Cronenberg, his son, is picking up that fucking mantle, man. Because Infinity Pool is one of my favorite movies of this year. I've watched it so many times. Shivers is another great one. Cosmopolis, Rabid, even Spider, which got no love, but Spider is great. A Dangerous Method, which is about Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, like developing their psychological theories. Can you think of a better person to make a Sigmund Freud movie than David fucking Cronenberg? And nobody fucking saw it. No one fucking saw it. It has it has Keira Knightley, Viggo Mortensen, Michael Fassbender. Like, and nobody saw this movie about Carl Jung and fucking Sigmund fucking Freud, directed.
I never even heard of it. That's wild.
Exactly. That's how good this dude is. He doesn't give a fuck if anybody sees his movies or not. He's gonna make what he wants.
He's an artist, man. He's an artist.
Crimes of the Future, his most recent movie, he still got it. Incredible fucking filmography, incredible filmmaker, and we'll talk more about him soon. But yeah, Videodrome, man, It's known for the videotape in the belly scene that everybody's seen probably, but it's so much more than just the body horror. It is brilliant. 88 minutes as well, so it just is so efficient with its time. And again, it was made 40 years ago, and it could have been made tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Daddy likes a short run time.
Yep,
I like that now.
It's awesome.
That's
Videodrome.
Oh man. All right, I'm adding it. I'm adding it right now.
Yeah, I have a strong.
What you do to me, Aaron? You give me good recs. I gotta fucking add them.
Yeah, I have a strong run so far of these 5. So,
dude, I mean, yeah.
That's the idea as we get going.
Boys, we're not even to the top half yet.
No, we're in the first quarter.
All right, Videodrome is now added. Still need to see When Evil Lurks.
Yep. Still
need to watch A Serious Man, The Harder They Come. I got several I need to check out, but thankfully, that's a great thing about film and movies is there's so goddamn many, and by the time you watch the ones you've been meaning to, other sweet ones have come out.
Yep. And speaking of which, Why We Love Horror just debuted its newest episode, which is Suitable Flesh, which comes out on Shudder in January. Heather Graham's in it. Absolutely wild movie. If you're into Lovecraftian adaptations, check it out. All
right, I'm going to put up a banner for you. Review of, what is it, Suitable Flesh?
Suitable Flesh. Debuting right now on Why We Love Horror. So after this, you can go click over on that and check out. We do put up spoilers when we talk about spoilers, but yeah, it's a good time. And shout out to Abby for finding that one because I hadn't even heard of it. Heather Graham, Bruce Davidson, who's a great character actor. You know who he is if you look him up. And yeah, again, Lovecraftian vibes. I'm all about Lovecraftian adaptations. Realized it more watching In the Mouth of Madness as well last night.
Oh, yeah, dude. I love Color Out of Space. That's a great one.
Color Out of Space is a great one. Yeah, there's so many good Lovecraftian adaptations, and there's some bad ones as well.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. No doubt. Well, fuck yeah, dude. Shit, I got something else to check out when I get off of this. Yep. Hell yes. Well, dude, man, keep them coming, my dude. All right. Okay, number 78 for me. This is what I thought I was on before when I started with the last introduction. As we get a little further up the list, I'm not gonna speak for Aaron, but now we're starting to get into the realm of comfort movies. We kind of touched on this one of the earlier episodes of this countdown. We kind of talk about movie being like therapy in some ways. This is very much a therapy movie for me. This movie is a comfort movie. It wraps me in a big, warm comfort blanket. And for like an hour and a half, like everything is going to be A-okay. This movie is in the rotation of movies that I put on to go to sleep to. It is a 90s movie. It is a cheesy 90s movie. All the better. This movie features maybe not the debut, but features a few actors that definitely went on to become much more famous, and some that didn't. But in any case, number 78 for me, I believe the year is 1993. This is a high school sports movie, as well, a comedy, I would say. The movie that almost, I'm not going to say it did, but it almost made rollerblading look cool. Ladies and gentlemen, 78, 1993, Airborne.
This is all you, man. This is all you. I've never seen this movie. I was too young for it. There's a slight age gap between us, and I think this is where I missed Airborne. Is that Seth Green there?
That is Seth motherfucking Green. If you like Seth Green, he is like, not everything that comes out of his mouth, but just about everything that comes out of his mouth is hilarious. He is such a character in this movie. I mean, look at him, dude. Look at that guy. That is like the first scene he's in. Yeah. You may recognize the lady behind him. She is the plot of the movie is this. It's pretty
Is that
simple.
the case of the Mondays woman from The Office or Office Space?
Yeah, I don't know if it's her. She plays the secretary in Ferris Bueller.
Oh yeah.
They think he's a righteous dude.
Oh yeah, that's who it is.
So Airborne is basically a California surfer teenager. Parents go to Australia. He has to go stay with his cousin and aunt and uncle. Cousin is Seth Green. They live in Cincinnati, so it's a big culture shock for him. The changing of the weather. He's a transplant kid, basically. So there's a lot of things in this movie that I relate to. Being a transplant kid, trying to make new friends, finding it difficult, trying to find acceptance. That was a big thing in high school for me. So I relate to that. But I've been watching this movie since well before high school. So it is definitely like, there was things I liked about it more when I was younger. Now some of those things are like super duper fucking cheesy, but like it's aged well in kind of like a campy way. And like I said, it features a young Seth Green and also a young Jack Black, Jose Augusto Rafael Del Parra. Everybody just calls me Augie though. Dude, this movie is funny. It's cheesy, it's charming, and it's got some decent like sports action, like directing. Like it's pretty decent. Like I'm not going to say this movie is great. It's certainly not. It's objectively like not a good movie, but it has a certain charm to it. It's directed by Rob Bowman. I don't know if you guys know who Rob Bowman is. He directed a lot of X-Files episodes. So chances are, if you like the X-Files, you've definitely seen some Rob Bowman directed episodes. He's done a few movies too. I can't remember his other ones, but this was his debut. But nah, man, I love Airborne. Like I said, I'll put the shit on and go to sleep too. It's yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so I used to get Airborne and Rad confused as a kid. I just kind of lumped them together, and my Airborne was Grind, which I'm not sure if you've seen, that skateboarding flick.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so that was my version of Airborne. It was a skateboarding movie in the height of the X Games back in early 2000s.
Nice.
Yeah, no, never has been on my list. I'm not against adding it to the list. I love that this movie is in front of movies like Jackie Brown. I love that, like, because this is our list. So this is because like. Also, my next movie happens to be a more comfort movie, and I'll get into it in a minute. But yeah, so Airborne is rollerblading, right?
So yeah, basically he's a surfer, right? So you can't surf in Cincinnati, but he rollerblades too. So that's like his like to make like they realize, oh, maybe this guy is cool. And there's like some cheesy romance shit. That's whatever. But like young Seth Green, young Jack Black. There's some really funny shit in it. The mom, like I said, the secretary from Ferris Bueller, she's like the typical Midwest, like way too friendly, like corny. It's I love it, man.
Very good, very good. Not much more I can say about it since.
Yeah, me neither, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can say more than that. So, all right, we'll move on to my second to last for this week, the 77 pick. You mentioned Sean Green, did you? Well, my next movie happens to have Sean Green in it as well.
Oh, shit.
This is my favorite horror comedy of all time. And there's a few movies I can credit for why I became a stoner. Half Baked, Friday, and this movie right here, Idle Hands. Have you seen
shit.
Idle Hands?
I've seen Idle Hands. It has been a long, long time, though.
Yeah, this movie is incredible. 1999, directed by Rodman Flender, who went on to make Nothing. And yeah, Devon Sawa of Final Destination fame got his start here as Anton, who's basically a 17-year-old stoner who just does nothing but watch TV and fall in love with his neighbor across the street, played by Jessica Alba, who I believe this was her debut in this movie as well. She plays Molly, and he ends up getting his hand possessed by the devil early on in the movie, and like he like can't control it. He's like, it's just like a lot of just like pratfalls and things like that. And like just it's just hilarious. Seth Green is great as Mick. Peanut is Eldon Henson, who was in D2 Mighty Ducks, amongst other movies. He's been in Daredevil now. I still will always see him as this character. Vivica A. Fox plays Debbie, the like witch hunter demonologist woman. And it's just a great time, man. It fucking has the Offspring as the band at the Halloween dance. And it's just, it's just not a movie to be taken seriously at all. And like, there's literally like a scene in the beginning when it's basically you're just watching Devon Sawa get high on a couch and watch music videos. So he's watching like the music video to Dracula by Rob Zombie. And like, I just, honestly, I was like, literally me. Daniel, we are talking about movies. Welcome to Cosmic Countdown. We're doing our top 100 favorite movies, 5 a week. So, yeah, if you're here for MMA content or anything like that, I'm taking a break for a little bit. And so we're talking movies. But yeah, welcome. And hopefully you can stick around. If not, that's all good too. Yeah, and it's just, this is just such a perfect time capsule of 1998, 1999. Fred Willard playing the father as well. There's some good like horror and gore in the movie as well, especially when he puts the hand in the microwave and it starts just like exploding. It's so gross. But yeah, like this is one of the movies that I saw before I was smoking weed that I knew eventually I was going to be a pothead. I just did. I was like, this is predisposing me to my future. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I can put it on pretty much any Halloween. I showed it to Abby. She had not seen it before. And it's just like completely a just ridiculous movie. Like at one point, the hand, when it gets free, it's just like basically like whatever. What's the hand called from Addams Family? I don't even know.
Thing.
Yeah, Thing. Oh yeah, that's what it's called. And so basically it turns into Thing. It's so dumb, but it's so much fun.
I love those kind of movies.
Yeah, and like it's just like if you're gonna take your movies too serious, don't really get into this one at all. And we'll see you later, Daniel. You can suck my dick. So anyways, great touching story about a stoner's hand who gets possessed by the devil.
Dude, yeah, I need to watch this one again because it has been way too long. It's fuck, man. I might have to put that on the fuck.
It's on my annual Halloween watch list.
I was gonna say I might put that on the list for next year. The wife and I have an active list, so that'll get added for sure. Yeah,
it's great title as well to a movie, Idle Hands. I love this movie. I just feel like everybody had a blast who is part of this movie.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I think it's fucking great soundtrack, like you said. Fucking Santeria sitting there getting stoned, like.
Yeah, it's 1998, 1999 encapsulated in a stoner horror comedy. I don't know how it couldn't make my list.
Excellent selection, sir. All right, well, second to last one for me. I was watching this movie early afternoon. Started it last night, didn't finish, and then finished it up early this afternoon. This is a fantasy movie. I don't have many fantasy movies on my list, but this is one of them. This is an 80s fantasy movie. And another one kind of like Airborne. It's a bit of a comfort movie. Maybe not as much, but I also like it a little bit more for different reasons. It's another one that I think it got mixed reviews at the time. But I think it is aged a little bit better in some ways, and some of the things that maybe look a little dated have a nice like kind of campy quality to them. Anyways, without further ado, this is a vehicle by a pretty famous director. Like I said, it didn't get great reviews at the time, but it is a bit of a comfort movie for me. I wouldn't call it the best fantasy movie ever, but it's one of the better ones, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, number 77, I give you the criminally underrated Ron Howard's Willow.
Never seen it.
This movie to me, I watched it when I was younger. I'm an 80s kid. Well, kind of 80s, 90s. I was born in the early 80s, but this came out in the late 80s. I think I remember seeing it when I was around 10, though, like a few years after it had been out. But again, some of the things that I found, it's funny. Like, it's a funny movie, but there's things as I've gotten older, like I get some of the more like mature jokes, and it just has this like charm to it. For like a one-off fantasy movie, it's got pretty good world building. It's a George Lucas story, so like the whole world is pretty well fleshed out for just like one movie. But yeah, it's a George Lucas story. Ron Howard directed. But if you haven't seen it, like I won't spoil too much of it, but it's a really good fantasy movie, and it's got like, I wouldn't say it's like wall to wall action, but when the action does heat up, it's pretty good. It's got a good final battle. The sword fighting is good. The choreography was done by the dude William Hobbs, who did Rob Roy, The Duelists, Excalibur, Lady Hawk. It's got good sword fighting when they do tussle. My favorite character from the movie, big shocker, is Val Kilmer's Mad Mardigan. This is one of the better like early Val Kilmer roles. He's responsible for a lot of like the comic relief in the beginning of the movie, and then sort of like the badassness towards the end. I really like the friendship that develops between him and Willow. They kind of start out as rivals and like, build this friendship. But it's a great underdog story. It's a great, like, it's got some good lessons in it. So I feel like it's a pretty good family movie, and I feel like it's kind of got something for everybody in it. But yeah, good underdog story about like courage and determination and like friendship. And dude, the score for this movie is outstanding. Shout out to the late great James Horner. This is a James Horner scored movie, and the music definitely stands out. It got kind of panned at the box office, but I mean at the by the critics or whatever. But I think it's pretty fucking good. I think it's underrated, and it's just a charming fucking movie, and it's pretty damn funny too.
Yeah, no, I think there was also a Disney Plus Willow show as well.
Yes.
But I think it already got removed from Disney Plus because Disney Plus sucks. So whatever.
Yeah, and like honestly, the show wasn't bad. My expectations were really fucking low for it. But I'll say, anyone that's seen the movie, if you like the movie, you'll like the show. But I'm glad it was only one season. But yeah, I love this fucking movie, man.
Yeah, Warwick Davis. I believe the only Warwick Davis movie that's going to make our list. Sorry, Leprechaun franchise.
No.
But yeah, you didn't make my list. But yeah, no, I've always for some reason gotten Willow and like Princess Bride. I've just combined them as one movie. I don't know why. I feel like they're similar, but they're probably not. But yeah, I just never got around to Willow. It's another one which I was born in the late 80s, so like things like Willow miss me. They just did.
Fair enough.
All right, we're on to 76, final movie of this section of the countdown. The first quarter is going to be over after this. This one right here is probably, if not maybe, the best title song ever to come from a movie. It is a feminist classic, which, yeah, your boy is putting a feminist classic on his list, but this is one that is done so well and so non-pandering, and it's just a great movie. It is, the title song is 9 to 5. The movie is 9 to 5. Have you seen 9 to 5?
I watched 9 to 5 very recently, like in the last few months. It was like randomly on TV, and the wife loves it. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just sit down and watch 9 to 5 with her. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I love this movie. I don't know if it's because I was raised by women from my dad passing away early on, so I just have a more of an access to kind of the feminine perspective or what it is. But what screams feminism more than getting together with your gal pals, smoking a joint, and thinking about how to kill your misogynistic boss, played by Dabney Coleman? And Dabney Coleman plays such a raging dick in this movie. Like, this is, it's fascinating because Dolly Parton, first of all, is a dime piece in this movie. So, it's obviously from a while ago. But, like, it's from 1980. And Dolly Parton just plays into kind of the public perception of her. That's people just thinking she gets everywhere based on, trying to sexually attract people and doesn't actually have anything to offer, doesn't want to work hard. She really does, actually, and she can't be taken serious, and like constantly, like, her boss is trying to get her to like dress sluttier and like trying to sleep with her. He even spreads a rumor that he's already slept with her to everybody else because he knows that the perception of her is she's a whore. This is how she got to where she got to. So again, like 43 years ago, still, it really does feel like a movie that was again made today. I think the classics kind of have that effect, but Jane Fonda's great in it. Lily Tomlin's great in it. And it just gets really, really twisted. There's really just not a moment of this movie that I didn't enjoy. I think it's really a perfect movie. Like, it has a great message without hitting you over the head with it. It's got a great title sequence or great title song. It's got great comedy in it. They smoke weed. Like, it's basically Horrible Bosses completely ripped this off and then just made it stupid. It's got Office Space elements to it as well. It's just a great time, man. And it's one of these movies that I feel like as a guy, you're not going to sit down and watch 9 to 5 by yourself. And it's kind of a mistake. Like, this is for everybody. It's not a chick movie. It's not a guy movie. It really is just a perfect, great 80s comedy. Just also with a ton of brain to it while not trying to show off how smart it is to you. It just really is a well executed movie. I just really, really enjoy all the performances. And it's just not a movie I expected to like as much as I did when I saw it. I was like, I think I know what this is going to be. And it really was not what I was expecting at all. And yeah, it's just a classic, man. It's directed by Colin Higgins, who has written a few of my favorite movies as well. I'm not going to list them right now because they are on my list, one of them in particular. But one of the movies that is not on my list that he wrote was Silver Streak with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. So that kind of gives you, an idea of his skill. He only directed 3 movies. He was more of a writer. But yeah, I just really, really enjoyed this movie. It's another one that I went into with super low expectations and kind of blew me away. I think you can go in with high expectations and also be quite surprised by it as well. Again, best title song from a movie ever, because the song was written for this movie. And, I still listen to 9 to 5 once in a while, even though I don't work a 9 to 5. Thank God.
Dude, yeah, I definitely will agree with God, it was so much better than I expected, and I didn't have any expectations, and I watched it with the old lady, and it was I agree with that too. It's like, it's good, you don't like have to watch it by yourself necessarily. You can
it gets like absurd at some points too, which like I wasn't expecting. Like,
yeah, dude, yeah, like the whole fantasy scenes when they each take turns imagining like what they would do. I was like, God damn! I was like, I wasn't expecting.
Horrible Bosses just is a stupid remake of this.
Dude, yeah, the title song is awesome. The opening credits are great. It's definitely rousing, and it's very relatable to like
anybody.
Yeah, like you said, the Office Space kind of like droning workplace, like like the grind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It is not a chick movie at all, which I feel like so many people assume that, and it keeps them from seeing this movie.
No, dude, if you've ever just been fucking like a grunt, dude, just like a fucking at the bottom of the food chain of any kind of company, you can relate to this movie.
Yep.
And especially, like it's it's known as a feminist movie, but like, yeah, they don't beat you over the head with it. It's not like ham-fisted. It's like, it's a genuine like, hey, like, this misogynistic fuck is like getting away with all this shit, and it's definitely an art imitates life kind of movie, and very, like you said, very relatable.
Yeah,
You
and
change up
it's
some of the
and it
clothes and
really
stuff.
does take some risks that you wouldn't expect from this movie. Like it really does. It goes
Seriously, considering the time too, considering the time it came out. Yeah, good shit, man.
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. Just, you know, I had no expectations for it, and I came away thinking, I was like, man, that was pretty fucking good.
I would judge anybody who sees this movie and is like, I hated that. Like, I hate to say that, but it is like one of these movies where I'm like, you got to be able to find something about it that you enjoy and relate to. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to relate to you as a person, probably.
Oh, dude, Coleman was so good as
Anthony
that
Coleman
slimy douchebag.
Yeah, kills it.
I know a lot of guys like him, man. Like, oh
To
man,
this day.
That character is very accurate.
Yep.
Good shit, dude. All right, well, this is my number 76 for today. It's always sad when this comes to an end, but the good news is we will be back next week for another one. So let me make sure I got the banners right. All right, 76 for me. Another, this will happen more and more. This is another kind of comfort movie. This is an action comedy. And I don't even know if it's 50-50. I'd say it's probably like 60-40 comedy and action, but there's definitely some action in it. But the comedy is really funny. It's a very clever movie. There are some laugh out loud moments, but I'd say it's pretty witty and just kind of it does have this weird kind of like dark, twisted charm to it. It is another 90s movie. I'm sure y'all are picking up on a bit of a pattern there. But this is probably my favorite movie by this actor. I believe this movie came out in 1997. But in any case, this is my number 76 movie. Like I said, probably my favorite movie by the lead actor, and just kind of a blending of genres that was kind of seamless. And there's been a bunch of movies like this that have come out since, but I feel like this is one of the better ones, and definitely kind of influential on this type of action comedy moving forward. Anyways, without further ado, number 76 for me is the 1997 George Armitage directed, John Cusack starring Grosse Pointe Blank.
Hey, Michigan movie. Not on my list, but yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, man. I fucking love this movie. I watched this one today as well before I watched Willow, and I was like, I haven't seen it in a little bit. I'm pretty sure it deserves this spot, but I had to make sure, and I was like, yeah, dude, I fucking love this movie. It's really funny. Like, Cusack is perfect for it. His kind of like smart ass, dry humor just works really well with the kind of like heartless killer, but maybe not as heartless as he thinks he is. Kind of, I don't know. I like the. It's basically just about a hitman that goes to his high school reunion. That's the premise. And hijinks ensue. But yeah, good supporting roles. Jeremy Piven plays his old bud. Minnie Driver is his love interest. Dan Aykroyd plays his like hitman rival, and you could tell he had a lot of fun doing it. The side characters are all good. The action scenes are fun. Like, it's a good like seamless blend of action and comedy, and like some of the high school reunion shit is like super relatable and funny. And yeah, man, I got a kick. This one I was a little worried about too. I was like, oh man, I hope I'm not like overrating this. Or no, I was like, nah, man, it's definitely on my list. I fucking love it. Yeah, great soundtrack too. Holy shit, it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah, it's so charming. It's so fun. Like, it's just like there's great lines in it. Like, I can remember particularly there's one where like Minnie Driver realizes what he is, and she's like, "You're a psycho." He's like, "No, I'm not a psycho. Psychos kill for no reason. I kill for money." No, that came out wrong. Like, Alan Arkin also absolutely brilliant in this movie. It's so much fun. And just,
his therapist.
Yeah, and it's just like the fact that it's a Michigan movie, like, it just hits an extra close to home for me as well. It's a great representation of Michigan, which is always great to see. John Cusack, we already talked about him in Better Off Dead. He can nail the comedy, and this is right up there for me. And it's just really just a great time. And it honestly, it like had me fully invested within 10 minutes of the movie as well, which is sometimes a little bit harder with like romantic comedy type of movies. Like it takes a little longer, but for me, I was in it from the jump. And yeah, I just really enjoy this one, Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, it's dude, I love the scenes with him and Arkin, because he's like, I'm not your therapist. And he's like, why not? He's like, I have an emotional connection. He's like, why do you have an emotional connection to me? I'm afraid of you. You're afraid of me? He's like, yeah, I love their whole their dynamic. And
it's just got like a great, like, kind of growing up and realizing all the people you thought were cooler than you in high school just ended up being just as much of losers as you are.
Yep.
Yeah,
you're so worried about it and like nervous, like, why am I comparing myself to you fucking idiots?
Yep. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, and the soundtrack is amazing as well, which 90s movies did right so often and has become a lost art, unfortunately. But this movie completely nails it to me. Yeah, it's one of the best rom-coms of the 90s.
Jackie boy. Well, you got some good recs, my friend. You got that at least.
Yep.
Well, shit, man.
Real quick, I will make a quick recommendation of I have AMC A-List, so I go to about 3 movies in the theater each week, regardless. And I gotta be honest, man. I saw one yesterday that is going to become a cult hit at some point down the line. I have no doubt about this, and I just want to give a quick shout out to. I saw 2 good movies this week. Anatomy of a Fall, which is a French movie about a woman whose husband falls and then she's put onto a murder trial. That's not my one, though. It's a great movie and probably will be like one of the ones that gets nominated for an Oscar, at least in an international field. But my recommendation, this is going to be a cult hit at some point. I have no doubt about it. It's called Divinity, and it's directed by Eddie Alcazar. It is a black and white shot in 16 millimeter movie about 2 brothers who abduct a mogul during his quest for immortality. And basically, this movie is just, if you combine David Lynch and David Cronenberg, and it got even weirder. Like, this movie's insane, man. It is beautiful. Watch the trailer. If the trailer doesn't interest you, then oh, well, that's fine. This movie ain't for everybody, and I can understand that. But the people it's for, it is very much for. It's all, it kind of just goes into, it is a new original sci-fi movie. I swear at least a little bit of the influence had to be Elon Musk, as we're seeing kind of this Neuralink shit and everything that's coming out. It's just about a quest for immortality. It's study of life, study of just so many different things. Has Eraserhead vibes to it, has David Cronenberg vibes to it. It is an insane experience. It's one of the most original movies I've seen in years in the theater. I had to go over an hour away to see this movie because it wasn't widely released. So probably have to wait till it comes out onto streaming. But I'm telling you, Divinity has stop motion in it at times, 16 millimeter black and white throughout, and it just adds to it. Stephen Dwarf stars in this movie.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it is a wild ride, and just watch the trailer. The trailer absolutely represents what this movie is all about, man. It is wild. Divinity. Check it out when you can.
Thank you, sir. I absolutely will. Now, I have not seen this movie, but I can guarantee you that it is what I will be doing tomorrow night. The Killer drops on Netflix tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
It's been getting really good reviews, which I definitely got a fucking movie boner about, and it's getting good recommendations from the audience as well, which I always like to see. It's like if the audience and the critics are on the same page and they're both saying this movie fucking rocks, that's usually the case. So I could not be more stoked for it. That's what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like it's channeling one of my favorite movies ever, which is not an English movie, so I'll mention it real quick. Is La Samurai? It's from the '70s. Jean Pierre, or maybe from the '60s even. Jean Pierre Melville, French director. I just think that The Killer looks like it's channeling a lot of those vibes. I can't wait to see it. And yeah, I'm a huge Fincher fan, so seems like it's coming through for the Fincher fans. But yeah,
same.
Divinity, it's not on anybody's radar, I swear, man, and it really should be. It is so original. It is so different, and it's like a crisp 88 minutes, man. And it is just a wild ride. You will never see anything like it.
Nice. Fuck yeah, dude. Well, shit, let me add it right now. Fucking add another one. I got some good ones today, dude. All right. Watch list. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, Videodrome, and now Divinity.
Yeah, so many movies are called batshit or crazy or whatever. This movie is really that.
Ooh.
Like, this movie is seriously one of the craziest movies I've ever seen.
Nice.
In a good
I'll have to make sure I'm in a good mental state.
I guarantee it's a cult hit in 5 to 10 years. I guarantee it, man. And the people who love it will feel like I do. The people who hate it will feel the opposite of I do. It is not a unanimously acclaimed or agreed on movie at all. One of the people in it is Moises Arias, who is in Hannah Montana, apparently. I never watched Hannah Montana. Apparently he was in that. And yeah, he's gone very far away from it. Scott Bakula's in this movie. Bella Thorne, Emily Willis. Like, it is insane, man. It's such original sci-fi, which is a dying breed, I feel like.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, man, I would say of the three of mine that you haven't seen, I would say Cop Shop is probably the funniest. Like, that's probably the first one I would recommend out of those. Like Airborne, I don't know. That's just
Airborne's just a personal connection. That's
it is.
Airborne's the last of the three I'll get to.
Yeah. I mean, Willow is fun if you're in the mood for a fantasy movie. It's a better like fantasy movie that I've seen. But yeah, Cop Shop is a lot of fun.
Right on.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, man, this was another great episode. If you have any final words or anything you want to say, here's my friend.
Yeah, I'm really quick. I'm gonna share in the chat if anybody wants to go and support Why We Love Horror, even if you don't want to listen to it, that's fine. Like, you can just subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Why We Love Horror. We do trivia over there. If anybody's interested in doing that, let me know, and I'll get you set up. And again, right there in the chat is our newest review for Suitable Flesh. We also have Saw X up there. We have When Evil Lurks on there. We have When Evil Inside. There's just so many. Evil Lives Inside. What Lives Inside. Just so many. Every week we're trying to cover a different horror new release. So coming up in the next few weeks, we've got It's a Wonderful Knife coming out, which looks awesome. Justin Long's in it, amongst others. Then my wife, it's so weird to say that, is a huge Eli Roth fan. And in 2 weeks, Thanksgiving comes out, his Thanksgiving slasher, which looks unbelievable. We'll be reviewing that. So we got the next few weeks covered. But yeah, that's the channel right there. And honestly, it's all good. If you haven't seen it, just drop it a like. We're trying to get it out there more and more because one of the things that's really unique about our channel is that Abby's in her 20s, I'm in my 30s, and John, our third co-host, is in his 40s. So what that provides, I think, is a really unique opportunity to talk across 3 different perspectives about something we all love, which is horror movies. And if you're not interested in the reviews, the movie trivia is pretty fun over there. Abby's 2-0. I'm 1-1, so it's all good. And yeah, appreciate all the support and everything. And Thanksgiving comes out in a few weeks. And yeah, appreciate you, Moise. Appreciate you, Jack, Noah. Zach, who popped in earlier, that Daniel guy, whatever. Appreciate him too. It's all good. I get it. If I was coming for, gambling advice or whatever, and they were talking about movies, I would probably say the same thing. But everybody's here. Appreciate this. First quarter of the countdown has been a blast. I'm really looking forward to as it keeps going here, and what movies we agree on, what movies we need to punt on, and everything like that. But as always, Dusense, you're the man. Thank you for having me on your channel. Maybe I'm a month or two away from getting back into MMA, but it ain't happening anytime soon. I enjoyed my break completely, and it is an indefinite break, but I do think I'll be back with MMA sometime in 2024, probably the beginning of the year.
Nice, dude. Well, that is good shit. As always, thank you for being here, man. This is I really enjoy doing the show with you. And yeah, boys, tune in next week. I'll let you know if it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I'll talk more with Aaron about that, and we'll figure out a good time. My schedule is super flexible, so we'll make it happen regardless. But yeah, it'll either be Wednesday or Thursday next week at 4. We will let you know. But yeah, that's all we got for this week, boys. Thanks again. Make sure y'all smash the like button on your way out. For Aaron the Dog, I am just my 2 cents. Happy viewing, and we will catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.